and we are doing a series of budget talk sessions to educate our investors. Today's topic is takeaways from budget 2022. Let's start with a disclaimer. Investments in securities markets are subject to market risk. Read all the related documents carefully before investing. The content is purely for information and investor awareness purpose, and in no way to consider as an advice or recommendation. You should independently research and verify the information. Welcome you all. Yeah, Shankar is there, right? Okay. So today's speakers are
Yes, I'm there.
yeah, today's speakers are Aseem Juneja and Shankha Mukherjee. Aseem Juneja is a successful content creator and founder of India's leading stock market blog creator. His blog's name is a digitalblogger.com. This blog has more than a million views per month, and Mr. Aseem has more than a decade of experience in stock market domain. Welcome, Aseem.
Thank you, Peter. Glad to be here.
Yeah. And Mr. Shankar Mukherjee also with us. He's a trading expert, edu coach at Paytm Money. He has a more than a decade of experience in stock market. He's a trader and investor. Welcome, Shankar.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
Hi, Aseem, Peter. Hi,
Hi,
audience.
Shankar.
Uh,
Yeah, audience, if you have any questions, so you can put a chat message in Paytm Wealth community. We will answer those questions end of the session. So let me start with my first question to Aseem. Aseem, कैसा लगा budget? How was the budget? What was your expectation? As per your expectation or not?
Aseem, I think
Yeah,
is
he lost the connection, I think. Yes, Shankar. What was your
budget is
expectation? How was
is
the
like
yeah?
yeah. For me, I think the budget was pretty good. And why I'm saying it's good that there were no negative surprises. See, my personal expectation, of course, it can be something. It could have been like many of the salaried employees about different organizations was थोड़ा ETC का benefit बढ़ा दे, थोड़ा सा टेक होम अपना बढ़ जाए, टैक्स स्लैब थोड़ा सा कम कर दे, जीएसटी थोड़ा कम कर दे खाने पीने में, सो रेस्टोरेंट से खाना पीना आएगा तो घर पे तो we'll get some rebates there. So but that didn't happen. That was like over expectation, of course. The From the macro point of view, I think the budget was very good. I mean, personally, I was very scared that this was an election year and major elections like UP and all are going to happen. And we may end up having a popularistic budget, but this time the budget was not a popularistic one. It was more of a development focused. जो अपना 9.27% का जीडीपी ग्रोथ का टारगेट है उसको सपोर्ट दे रहा है, सो supportive to the growth, and that's what I personally liked from this budget.
Right, Shankar. Right, Shankar. Aseem, what was your view and what was your expectation? आपने क्या सोचा था? Budget आपको कैसा लगा?
See, I agree with the last line, Shankar. It's not a populist budget. Election pass में है and the government might try to please the audience, population में करने को, but वो हुआ नहीं. But then मेरे पास surprise negatives थे यार. मतलब कुछ negatives मुझे लगे कि वो expectation तो होती है ना बंदे की. So my expectations were there that there would be more push on education, which is there, but इतना नहीं है. There would be more push on agriculture. There would be more push. अभी का है, अभी infrastructure पे बहुत ज़्यादा push है. Telecom पे बहुत ज़्यादा push है. Real estate पे बहुत ज़्यादा push है. तो हाँ, in terms of development and everything, great. But in terms of the socialistic structure जो होता है ना, वहाँ थोड़ा सा back step. That's one negative surprise for me. We'll get to the details later, but that's a summary, sort of an overview as of now.
Yeah, I think Shankar, आपने कुछ सोचा था ऐसा कुछ बजट में ये होना चाहिए, मेरा ये एक्सपेक्टेशन है, नहीं तो स्ट्रीट का एक्सपेक्टेशन है एंड वो मेट नहीं हुआ है, वो बजट में था नहीं, ऐसा कोई पॉइंट्स थे other than STT or long term capital gain? I know you are an investor and trader.
uh, uh, See, My personal, of course, you said long-term capital gains. That equity में एकदम हट जाता. That would have been a dream come true, but that didn't happen. But see, my view from the budget or expectation from the budget was pretty negative. So my expectation that it could have been a populist budget. फार्म कुछ कुछ वेवर्स आएगा, पीएसयू बैंक्स के लिए कुछ और डेट बढ़ाएगा. So I had these kind of views which could have happened. The good part is all these things which I expected personally did not take place. So that's why I'm very happy with the budget. That there was no negative news from the budget. Yes, of course, for certain traders like who are into bitcoins and all, उनके लिए थोड़ा सा news is not so good, but doesn't matter to us like who are into stock market and in
Right.
equity. I think and even like I'm saying, I'm very happy with the budget. The market also rejoiced yesterday and even today. So that shows
Right.
that.
Asim, which all points you liked from the budget? आपको कौन सा कोई specific points आपको लगा कि ये बहुत अच्छा था बजट में?
मुझे तो सिंपली जो अच्छा लगा कि इंडिया 9.27% ग्रोथ आएगा, वो सबसे बेस्ट था. दैट वी आर गोइंग टू सपोर्ट दैट. द कैपेक्स में जो बिग बूस्ट मिल रहा है लाइक 7.5% लाख और करोड़ का शार्प, which is basically a 35% increase actually from the previous year. So that is the second part which I liked the most. Third part which I liked, देखो capex is going to come and that's going to invest on the it's a capital expenditure, right? It's not going to be investing on people's salary. Government employees का थोड़ा बढ़ा देगा, वो साइड का फोकस नहीं है, जबरदस्ती का फोकस नहीं है, यह कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर है. The finance minister has clearly said we are going to invest in capital. That's one. Secondly, thirdly, the gross GST collection also has increased. Like if you see, it's the highest in Jan 2022. The collection which has happened is the highest. So that's 1,40,986 crores as of now. That's really a big number. That shows the corporates are making money. Tax
Right.
भर रहे हैं मतलब क्या? People are making money, right? Simple as that. Like
True.
people say that give me mechanisms how I can take. I mean, how I can pay less tax. I said I want to be the country's largest taxpayer as an individual. That's a dream for anyone, right? Or at least from the trader fraternity. Secondly, okay, fourth point which I liked the most was the 1 year extension which has been given to the startups. Of course, there is a definition of startup, but that clearly says one important message that India is supporting startups. India is supporting the big corporates as well as us in building that infrastructure up. It's creating railroads, trying to connect the border areas. Defense focus bhi tha that they want to indigenize all the weapons and going to focus on more on exports. So these are very, very new things for us. So these are some things which we have never heard or expected. Even drone technology, maybe there were a lot of things, announcements made, and private and government partnership will get into drones, and that will be used not just in warfares and all but also in agriculture. EVs related बहुत positive बात कहा गया है. I don't know how it's going to be implemented, that public transport शायद very soon we will find them using battery operating vehicles. And I was speaking to some of my friends. They were saying like 15 साल का पुराना गाड़ी जो है उसको they're planning, I mean diesel especially is going to get scrapped, but how can they save? They said that they can save it by buying batteries. So you change the engine primarily, remove the petrol or the diesel engine and get into electric vehicle or any kind of better I mean less polluting stuff, less polluting fuel. So you'll get that extension as well. So these are very encouraging things which has happened from the budget.
Right. So after the budget, Nifty is positive. Yesterday also given a good rally, and today also market was budget. So Azim, what is your view for Nifty for next 1 year? Are you positive about Nifty?
Before I move to Nifty, मेरे को ना I need to talk about, see हम positive सारा बोला अपन ने सब कुछ, this is good thing, but there are few expectations जो कि पूरी नहीं हुई है, so I need to give the 360-degree point as well. Sangha has pointed on the positive parts, but there are things that could have been taken care. So capitalist, I'm a businessman myself, so I like the capitalist mindset. But from a socialistic point of view as well, we have to think. For example, education space where there's a marginal increase. For example, जो food subsidy है, वो 2,10,000 करोड़ था, अभी 1,45,000 करोड़ रहने वाला है. So things like that. मनरेगा 98,000 करोड़ से we got down to like 73,000 करोड़. Agriculture पे भी there has been a cut on the overall budget allocation. So
Aseem, we are unable to hear you a bit. If you can just bring your mouth please closer. Yeah, or maybe
Okay.
bring yourself closer. Yeah.
Is it audible now?
Yes, it's better.
Yeah, it's better now.
Is it audible? Is it better?
Yes, it is
Better,
audible.
better.
Yeah.
Acha. So yeah, I mean, from a socialistic point of view, there are 3-4 sectors जिसने बहुत अच्छा खासा budget deallocation देखा है. मतलब there has been like a 27% drop in मनरेगा. So employment, so infrastructure, yes, its creation is there, but employment generation is obviously the responsibility of the government too. So that for me is a turn off. And
Again,
obviously-
I'm missing you. If you can bring your mouth please closer, Aseem.
Give me a
No,
second.
Shankar, it's better for me. I
Okay,
think
okay.
it's okay. Azim, go ahead, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, okay, let's not try to. I lose the momentum, man.
You are
So
speaking
from-
about Manrega, the drop
I
in
know.
the Manrega.
Okay. So अगर वहाँ पे अगर हम budget deallocation कर रहे हैं and then we are saying that ठीक है अभी we'll build roads, we'll build highways, but employment from other sectors अभी थोड़ा wait करो. Obviously, the stock market is going to react positively to this because this is a capitalist kind of a budget. We are looking towards the industries where we're building. Obviously, we're pushing to e-commerce, we're pushing to a bit of a healthcare as well. But then coming back to the 3-4 sectors I pointed out, वहाँ पे अगर थोड़ा बहुत सरकार थोड़ा देख लेती, निर्मला सीतारमण should have seen there as well. So it would have been a happy kind of a budget. Obviously मेरे को तो क्रिप्टो करेंसी पे भी बात करनी है, but maybe I'm not sure is the right point to talk about that or not yet. 30% tax is a problem.
I would agree with Aseem there that there were some points like these were not there, but at the same time, when I'm speaking to my few of the friends who are like farmers, they are when pre-budget I spoke to them and they said like this time in UP, Punjab, the crop which gets manufactured this year, it got the crop was very good. फसल होता है ना, फसल बहुत अच्छा हुआ इस बार. So that is again a
तो
good
फसल में
sign.
सरकार का कुछ लेना देना नहीं है.
हाँ, so सरकार का उसमें कुछ लेना देना नहीं है. फसल बहुत अच्छा हुआ है. So फसल अच्छा हुआ है मतलब it also means to a way that farm employment from the agricultural sector had also been quite good this year. So maybe that allocation of funds may not be required this year. I'm not trying to defend anyone.
That's not how.
my
See, I
take.
am sitting in Punjab myself, and I come from a farming family background. So employment in farming is not employment; it's business for themselves. It's a self-employed business. We are talking about employment that is created by the movements of government. वहाँ पे deallocation हुआ है. That's the thing. When we are saying deallocation, that means we are decreasing our focus. अगर मैं if I pick up, let's say if I pick up the actual allocation और जो actual में expenditure हुआ rural development पे, last year 1,55,000 का was expected budget allocation जो होना था spend हुआ 138,000 crore. तो वी आर नॉट एक्चुअली स्पेंडिंग द बजट एलोकेशन, और उसमें भी अगर कम कर देंगे हम, तो फिर तो ऑब्वियसली दिस इज अ ग्रेव एरिया ना. तो दैट्स व्हाई
Right.
मेरा थोड़ा कंसर्न है. अदरवाइज आई एम हैप्पी. सी फ्रॉम अ बिजनेस, फ्रॉम प्रोफेशनल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, आई एम रियली हैप्पी because
Yeah.
I'm gonna make more money. Every business is gonna make more money because of this budget. But then that's the only reservation I have.
Yeah. Asim, let's move to the some market talks like about market and all. Maybe our viewers also like waiting for your views. What is the view about market Nifty? Where you are seeing like from next 1 year? एक साल के बाद आपको क्या लग रहा है? यहाँ से कहाँ तक जाएगा?
Do you want me to take it up?
Yeah, yeah, yes, sir. Asim, what is your view on Nifty? The market
See,
is
yes,
already positive, and post budget, what is your view?
yesterday the market was happy, was joyful. आज थोड़ा कंसोलिडेशन चल रहा है, एंड आई बिलीव कि कुछ दिन, few days or weeks थोड़ा कंसोलिडेशन चलेगा, especially for people who are into derivatives. So I had in the morning today, I had a look at the open interest OI level pay. So from looking at that, call OI was sitting at somewhere around uh, 1.5 million versus put OI was sitting as 1.53. So there was a marginal difference of, like, let's say around 15,000, which is not so much. So that implies that abhi buyers and sellers are a bit in a similar direction. They don't really know who is going to push whom, bull ऊपर जाएगा या bear. So थोड़ा सा consolidation phase में रहेगा market. So if I had to suggest someone, I'd say कि थोड़ा watchful रहो few days. But obviously from a very like a growth perspective or a positive outlook, I believe that the market in the next 1 year is going to touch pretty decent numbers. ये ऊपर ही जाने वाला है. I'm
Right.
not going to put up a number there,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm pretty much hopeful about it.
Yeah, predicting is very difficult, but yeah, right. For short term, we should be short term players should be very cautious, and they have to track the market very well. And for long term investors, yes, they have to buy the good stocks,
That's it.
like frontliner, and they can invest on those stocks. Right.
Abhi,
So
this is the right time to get in. Look at the fundamentals. Yeah.
right.
Yes,
So
Peter. Peter,
yes,
for me, when
yeah,
I'm looking at this week's open interest, na, so it's looking like this week Nifty will not cross 18,000. So this week means tomorrow's expiry.
yeah,
It will definitely not cross 18,000 because there's a huge open interest built up there. Parallelly, I do see a huge open interest in puts being built up. The first highest is 17,600 and 17,500, and then 17,700. Like I was referring to the Paytm platform which you have in the FNO dashboard second, the change in open interest, the highest open interest increase in puts has happened in 17,700. So assuming it's all been written, so I think this week's range, that's tomorrow's range, will be somewhere between 17,700 and of course below 18,000. But if it somehow crosses 18, I mean, of course, I mean, you never know, but then the call writers will get trapped, which is very unlikely.
right. So before the budget, we had a lot of problems, right? Like global rate hikes,
It's still there.
inflation, yeah, global rate hikes, inflation, and mainly FIs are were selling like anything. Like they sold from last 3 4 months, they sold more than lakh crores, and a lot of negative sentiments. But after budget yesterday, they have not sold much. They have sold very less crores of crores, maybe 29 or 30 crores, I think. What is your view? Like people thought like market may come down, correct further. It's already corrected 7 8%. Further may it correct. But after budget, what is your view? Like for a long-term investor, so should they fear about this or they should invest? If they invest, then which all sectors are looks better for you?
See, if you're looking about FII point of view, अगर आप FII के तरफ से देख रहे हो, see FII when they invest in India, अगर invest करता है इंडिया में, वो लोग इंडिया सोच के नहीं करता है. जैसे हमारे लिए पूरा ब्रेड एंड बटर हम लोग सब इंडिया में ही करते हैं. For FIIs, they look at a global allocation where India is a part of their allocation. Are you getting it? So,
Yeah.
abhi now that the rate hike is on the cards, they are expecting the equity markets to be volatile. So they're moving out of the riskier asset and maybe towards safe haven. So if I'm today, if you are sort of sure that markets will collapse, what will you do? You will move out of your small caps and move to large caps, right? Or maybe to other assets, but definitely get out of small caps, isn't it, Peter?
Right.
Because if rate hikes are going to happen, then uh, the small cap stocks will get hit. Why?
Yes.
Because they generally live on loans. They are living on the loan money, leverage money. So they are getting out. For them, India is a small cap. So India also have a lot of leverage in terms of loan as a country. Plus, uh, so the fall in Indian markets are faster. Of course, the revival is also faster compared to the other markets. So they're moving out of India and allocating funds in more safer havens or in safer assets. That's it. Otherwise, for FIIs also, and if you look into the charts, they were also in US was also falling, India was also falling. US
Right.
was moving up. In US, Nasdaq went up by 3% day before yesterday, I think, and sorry, yesterday, day before yesterday, and yesterday, apna Nifty IT was also up, relatively in the same proportion. So it's not a problem. Even FII is leaving India is not a problem at all.
Right. So a lot of domestic money is coming to market. So
Domestic
domestic.
money is also coming to markets,
Big
Yeah.
time.
absolutely,
Yeah.
and that's absolutely healthy.
Yes. Azim, which all sectors are looks very lucrative after this budget? Where you bet?
There are quite a few actually. I'm betting on infra. I'm betting on real estate. I'm betting on cement, based on the fact that government has a lot to do with the infrastructure development of the country. I'm also looking at pharma and tech from a global point of view, what's happening around in the world. थोड़ा बहुत allocation मेरा FMCG पे भी है, from a domestic consumption point of view. So honestly, this is pretty much मेरा infrastructure में ही add on हुआ है. It's pretty much what it has been the last year. बाकी के sector वाला. But I have added infrastructure. I'm gonna add infrastructure a bit more, based
Yeah.
on what has happened in the budget.
Yeah. So, Shankar, after this budget, maybe there's some like points for digitalization. So, a lot of digital companies or IT companies also shown some given some movements. So, what is your view on IT sector? And also, I would like to ask you about the banking sector. Should we
Right.
buy those
For
stocks?
me personally, if you ask me, when previous to the budget, in the last 23 years, I've been only looking at budgets to only observe which are the sectors which are getting benefited from the budget aggressively. So I try to avoid those sectors somehow. So if
Okay.
PSU banks are getting huge benefit, then I would avoid PSU banks because the situation must be bad there. That's why they're given benefits. So that's my way of looking at budgets, especially.
Okay. So that
So
is another way of looking budget. Okay.
yeah, that's a way of looking budget. So somewhere you don't need to give a crutch for walking. The industry which is not given a crutch for walking, that the industry is doing well. That's my way of taking budgets in. So this year the PSU banks were not given much. Of course, good news is like the post offices are going to be roped into the mainstream banking. So somewhere, somehow, there will be branches of the PSU banks somewhere. I feel that's going to be the outcome, and that way, the reach of the PSU banks are going to be very big. So that's a very good news, and I think we were expecting something for the PSU banks. It did go up, and now banking sector as a whole, I'm very bullish on banking. In the financial services sector, I'm bullish on two areas. One is your AMC stocks for long run. AMC stocks. Why AMC stocks? These are under management, right?
Yeah.
Now if India goes up and doubles in the next 4 years, right? Nifty doubles in the next 4 years. Your savings, my savings will also double in the next 4 years,
True.
and so will AMC's income,
Yeah.
right? And more people will come, and so their asset under management will increase. Maybe through ETF route, maybe through the route of
Mutual funds.
direct mutual
Yeah.
funds, but that will definitely increase. Maybe they will buy a PMS from you, from your PMS bazaar. So, but they can do anything. But
Right.
the assets will increase for them, and the fees will also equally increase. So that's why I'm bullish there. I'm also bullish on the life insurance companies.
Okay.
So that's also one area I'm pretty bullish on. So these are the three sectors or my views in the financial services. Then I'm quite bullish about
Okay.
IT sector, because I think our exports to IT will increase over time.
Increase.
And as a country, we will, if we want to remain China, if you try to aim for China plus one, I mean, this will not come out through budget, but if we try to want to become China plus one, we have to devalue our currency somewhere. Only then it will be easier, and we will be price competitive in dollar terms, right?
Right.
So for that, who is going to be benefiting? The IT companies. So my bet is on IT and pharma. So these are the primarily three sectors: BFSI, IT, and pharma. I am still betting on. My
Okay.
view for Nifty is like this year. By this year, we should touch 20,000 plus, and of
Okay.
course, long term is like, and after 23 years of budgets, I've only seen one thing: bad budget, good budget doesn't matter. Market always moves up.
Right, right. That's true. The end of the day, like the wealth creation or anything happens, like if you want to create the wealth, that happens through like your individual company's performance. That is the
Yes.
what the balance sheet they have, what the stocks they have, like what the profit they have. On the basis of that, the price will move. So it doesn't matter what is the budget or what is the market. So we have to pick the best stocks. Yeah. So
See,
Aseem, you
budget
have mentioned
budget
like
का जो है will be there but only for short term. मतलब if you're saying कि for 1 year क्या होने वाला है,
That's very
I
short
believe कि
term.
maximum इसका जो हाई रहता है ना वो 15-20 दिन रहता है. हाँ, उसके बाद
right.
वो ठंडा हो जाता है.
राइट राइट
Situation.
असीम आपने अभी मेंशन किया इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सेक्टर एंड फार्मा सेक्टर सो ये सेक्टर में अभी देख लीजिए लास्ट एक डेढ़ साल में नहीं तो 2 साल में आफ्टर कोविड सो काफी मिड कैप स्मॉल कैप कंपनी मींस those companies are multi baggers I can call so multiple return दिया है percentage wise में so what you are betting now so you go for a small cap mid cap or large cap with your own favorite sector like infra or pharma.
See, I primarily have a mixed bag of as a nominal investor, I would go for three. But मेरा small cap is not more than 10% of the overall allocation. मैं थोड़ा बहुत बीच में I do my experiments with sometimes with the penny stocks as well. But generally, it's a mixed bag of a large cap and a major chunk comes from the mid cap stocks. And उसमें भी I keep a sectoral point of view. In sector maybe I play around a bit. So for example, if I go into the IT, I'll put some money into obviously a lot of money into Infosys and likes of those. जो पिछले कुछ सालों से I'm just piling up. But then at the same time, I'll bet on something that comes on and works on things like AI or some things like IoT. कोई ऐसा चीज कर रहा है कुछ. Sometimes invest in the young.
Yeah. So,
I would agree.
Shankar, yeah,
Yes.
Shankar, what will you prefer? The small cap, large
Yes.
cap, or
I
mid
would
cap?
agree with Aseem. So absolutely that, so in a scenario where corporate debts might rise. I mean, the rate of interest might go up. So if globally, if US is increasing, Fed is increasing, globally, most of the countries will also take the same path. So Australia is talking in these same lines. Central Bank of UK is also talking in the same language. Bank of Japan also is talking the same language. Only our RBI is quiet, but I assume RBI will also do the same. There is a news that Tata Steel has given back a lot of money which they had taken as loan. So that also somewhere indicates that the reason they have returned back the money, not just because they have profits, but also there is a probability of rate hike somewhere, even in India, marginal, but there might be. Now, if that happens, the companies which takes borrowed money, they are mostly the small cap and mid cap companies also depend on borrowed money. So those are the companies which it. So yes, allocating funds in small caps right now, I'm personally very skeptical right now. But mid caps and large caps, I'm quite so. See, because the option premiums are down, I feel that it's a good time when if you know the direction, you can play direction using debit spreads. So if you're bullish, maybe you buy a call at the money or out of the money and parallelly write calls above that. So you can get rid of the theta decay. So if you're bearish, you can do the same thing. I'm more of a direction player, so I don't write calls. I don't do naked writing. So I look at direction and I prefer looking at directions.
So yeah, okay. Instead of you are looking for a directional trade, but the who wants to take less risk, they can go with the strategy based, and you say like debit spread is better. So because you are expecting some upside movement.
Because the premiums are low compared to what it was 2-3 days back, or compared to last week, the premiums have come down drastically. So maybe one can look at debit, but I'm not saying like don't buy stocks out of the money. Too much out of the money. It's like one of my friends gave an example the other day of Lay's potato chips.
Yeah.
Lay's खरीदते हो ना? I think you remember, Peter, that example.
Yeah. Right.
So Lay's खरीदते हो, उसमें potato chips होता है, हवा होता है.
Right.
So when you're buying any out of the money premium, you're only buying hawa. But you are buying in the money premium or maybe a dip in the money, so you'll have some potato chips as well as some hawa in the packet. You don't buy hawa, so I am against buying hawa. I buy, for me, my style is a little bit different. I buy too much deep in the money, and I use strict stops. So but if you're playing on direction right now, the premiums are low. Of course, you can use at the money and write something above, some few strikes above. So that would help.
Right. Aseem, now see the volatility has decreased, premiums are less. So what is the right kind of strategy for option players?
Yeah.
Aseem, this question for you. So yeah.
Can you say that again?
Now the volatility has decreased. Option premiums are very less now. What kind of strategy you are looking for now as an option trader?
I am in line. I don't do a lot of derivative trading, but I'm in line with what Shankha said there. I agree with the debit spread point of view. The premiums are going to be less. The volatility is pretty low, and it's going to be most likely the same way. The volatility part is going to be in next few days. It's going to stay the same. The next 2-3 contracts expiry days at least. I would want to be playing the debit spread guy and more or less stay on that perspective.
Right.
Also, Peter, now that the markets have actually taken a direction, we can actually actually use positional trades and keep holding with strict stop losses. So it's not like the markets are like having very high premium and it's directionless. Somewhere we have taken a direction. But if you whatever direction indicators one uses, if the direction changes or price action strategy people uses, if the direction changes, immediately you can change the direction using debit spreads strategies only, but keep a strict stop. You can take positional, need not be just doing it for intraday trades and moving out. Yes, Peter. Asim, are you there? Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
you.
I can listen. Yeah.
I think Peter.
See, Shankar, on that point, I
Hmm,
mean, I let Peter come
sure.
back. So you're saying strict stop loss, but then are you assuming that could be a chance that volatility can go in the south direction? It could be a position there.
Absolutely. See, my as I shared with in the team here that we are looking at 20 21,000. That's my personal expectation for this year, and the next 2 3 years I'm expecting 25,000 Nifty. But that doesn't mean that it will come straight. It may we may get to see a 20 25%, sorry, 15 to 20% fall in the market from the peak. That is quite possible. 15%, 20% is
Something,
quite normal.
something has to happen for that
Yeah,
to
something
take
really
place.
bad needs to happen for that. And I
20%.
think
I
most of the
hope.
values has already been factored in. But I'm not talking about 15 20% because when we are talking about options, we are primarily talking about traders. So for traders, भैया 2% दे दो काफी है.
दो भी
मार्केट
बहुत
2% गिर जाएगा, मेरा काम हो गया.
है. हाँ.
Right. So Shankar, let's take some of the questions from audience. So
Yes.
one of the question is like, how to choose stocks after this budget?
Uh, as we shared, both Asim and me, we both shared that we were quite bullish on few of the sectors. Like he's bullish on infra, he's bullish on agriculture sector, agriculture based sectors.
Farmer.
Pharma is something which we both are bullish on. IT is somewhere we both are bullish on. Banking and financial services we both are bullish on. So sometimes picking up the stocks, you need to pick up, like you need to choose your style of investment. Is it going to be value or growth? So that's again, or you are going to choose quality stock. So that's your style. But if you ask me what would be my style, if you are now aware of the index which is there, so I can pick up the top 10 scripts from there and invest. That can be one way of investing. The other way can be like I know the indices, right? So I look at for ETFs or mutual funds which passively invest in those sectors. So you have today ETFs which invest in mid caps. You have ETFs which invest in large caps, pharma, banking. You have ETFs which invest in all these. Even in consumption, you have ETFs for consumption as well. So if brain doesn't work, just invest in the Nifty 500 or Nifty 50.
Right.
Otherwise, you can always ETFs, and otherwise you can always pick up stocks and invest.
Yeah, for like financial sector or any sector, the good stocks or top Nifty 50 companies, top stocks, they can select any
Top
stocks
10, top 10.
and top 10 stocks, and they can invest for long term and even for the short term. Yeah.
Now, these
So
are
this
not
is
recommendations. Like you are asking me what the name of the
yeah,
stocks. I can't tell you the name of the top 10 right now because they will keep on changing every year, every next month, every month. So my recommendation is someone who wants to play active, maybe they can pick up that index, pick up the top 10 scripts, and maybe they can hold on for 6 months and 1 year. And after every 6 months, review the portfolio and change the composition. So if something is out, then they can take that out and bring in the next one.
Yeah. One more question from one of the audience. Like he's asking, so what is the view for the short term, like for this week or coming week expiry?
This week
So what
expiry,
kind
as
of
I
strategies we can do?
this week expiry, see again, trend is your friend, and the trend changes with the blow up time easily. So right now, this week, it looks like 18,000 is a strong resistance and 17,700 a good support, because based on the change in open interest, I'm giving these the figures. But again, if the number changes, our direction would change. So right now, 18,000 looks to be a very strong resistance. If and Nifty is above the 50 DMA. So as long as it's above 50 DMA, I think things are looking okay. So that's in cash on 17,435. So I think right now we are in a bull zone. We can in
Hmm.
cash also, cash only, we can see 18,000, 18,050 by this week or next week, maybe. But of course, we
Okay.
have our trail stops always ready. And this is
Yeah.
based on open interest, clearly.
See,
Yeah.
Nifty 50, RSI is also sitting at 67.
It's moving up
Um,
now.
ADX, that's moving. When this call started, it was at 53. Now it's 67 on a daily chart. ADX is sitting at 24. Bollinger is saying there's no breakout, but it's beyond the 20 EMA, 20-day EMA. So
For
all of
me,
that
yes.
is
Yes,
saying
yes.
that go buy for short term. But
So
yeah,
for
with strict
me,
stop losses.
RSI daily is coming to around 54. And sorry, 50, yeah, 54. And the slow period, fast period has given a crossover.
Hmm.
So, but okay, RSI is above
If you
50.
have,
That's something which is quite looking bullish for
hold
me. So let's see,
on.
18,000 can come. Of course, stop losses are always there. And today we did a good close above the 20 DMA as well. Is it?
Uh,
Right.
1766. Yes, we closed above the 20 DMA as well. So at least for the month, it will stay bullish.
Yeah. There was another question like, what is the view on technology funds? Like it can be a mutual funds or technology related stocks. What kind
ETFs.
of, yeah.
See, right now, if you look at the IT index, CNX IT index, that also has started moving up. It really went down drastically, and now from there, it's moving up. And the same has happened with Nasdaq. So is it going to be a bad time to invest? The word investment was here. So because you're talking about investment, maybe you can push in IT, but don't forget asset allocation rules which we spoke about based on risk appetite. So maximum 75% of your portfolio, 70 to 75% of your portfolio, one should have in equity and the rest in other assets. But yes, IT index is looking quite good. It has started moving up, though there are resistances around, like 36,600 is a good strong resistance, and then you have the next resistance, I think 37,707 is a good resistance, and I think we can see it moving to that from 38 to we can see it moving up to that. The resistance starts, of course, from 36,666.
Okay. So, Shankar, one more question. What kind of style of investing you think will be best for this year?
My favorite would be value style of investing this year. Value or quality. So Nifty value index, which is there, that is also performing quite good right now, and it's looking quite good to me. Nifty value 20. So from Nifty 50, I'm not in the any other index, but Nifty 50 index, value index. So that's looking quite good to me. So it's trading at 9,206 right now. So it's a good way to invest.
Invest. Right.
So
So,
value style would be good, and one can get into stocks from that index. And of course, you have quality stocks. You can just click on NSE and find out which scripts are there. And of course, you have ETFs available
right.
for that.
Yeah, Azim.
See, one thing, Peter, I would like to add here.
Uh,
In US market, in long run, my backtested study showed that the growth stocks are doing well there. The growth index of US, they outperform their benchmark. But in India, our value index outperforms the benchmark. So looking at that, maybe investing in value will be my bet.
See, there is
Yeah.
there is a
Asim,
concept of there are a few concepts of factor investing that are coming into picture. ये this kind of a concept is being worked by UTI हो गया, this Motilal Oswal. They work on things like momentum funds. So momentum fund क्या होता है कि they fund managers.
Asim, you're not clear. Yeah.
Is it audible now?
Yes, very nice. Very clear.
Okay. So, momentum investing is what? Momentum investing is where the fund managers pick out specific stocks across the indices, across the sectors that have a decent growth. So, from the context of value investing and growth investing, so there are few funds already in the market. I mean, from going down to 25,000 Sensex during the COVID times, these kind of funds have shown a growth potential of more than 45% in the last years, 2 years or so. So these kind of things have taken my attention from a couple of years, and I have honestly put up around 20 to 30% of my asset allocation into these kind of funds where I don't have to do a lot of research myself for long term or positional investing, and these guys are doing it for me. So that's one bit I would like to add.
yeah.
Yes,
Right.
what you're saying
Azim.
is right. And for people, how do we find out momentum stocks? I use a very simple strategy. I look at Nifty Alpha Index. So I generally look at stocks from Nifty Alpha Index. If you look at that index also, that has given Nifty 50 Alpha Index, that has given a super duper return. Like from 14,000, which was somewhere in, okay, let's look at Jan. 1st Jan 2020, opening was 13,000. From there, it is now 34,000.
Right.
So
Exactly.
alpha index also is something when you're talking about momentum, Asim, the alpha
Huh.
index is something which our audience can look at and they can pick up stocks from there. So if you want to follow momentum.
Right.
Right.
So, Shankar, like budget is very good. We have already discussed, but there are some negative
Good.
parts also, like
It's good. It's not bad.
global
It's good.
market, rate hikes, and many concerns are there. So, how you manage your risk if there is anything like bad news comes? So we have already fully invested. Most of the investors are fully invested because market also came down again. Buy on dip. Usually, people say like so they bought a lot of things. So, what will be the risk management steps you will take, and what you advise for
Uh,
investors and traders both?
okay. Asim, you would like to say something on this?
See, honestly, yeah, I mean, I can add couple of cents. For me, this budget was a generic budget, एक दो
Yes,
exceptions के साथ.
absolutely.
And honestly, before we talk about risk, मेरे को यार, I need to talk about crypto. 30% tax. We are not talking about it. कि
Yes.
उसका, see, I'll take
30%
that
tax.
implication. I'll take that implication from there to I'll take it this point to stock market. मतलब कि if we are putting 30% tax plus 8% TDS, that implies that the government does not want us to trade in crypto, first of all. And if they don't want us to trade in crypto, where would I go? I would go to stock market. So
Yes.
जो 10 करोड़ लोग गए हैं क्रिप्टो मार्केट में, स्टॉक मार्केट में 4 करोड़ हैं, तो वो भाग के यहाँ पे आएंगे. That was this one line of news has a big impact on stock market. और वो जो risk expectations या risk appetite के साथ आएंगे stock market में, that has a huge variance in terms of the kind of investment or trading products that we have in Indian share market. तो अगर वो लोग आते हैं तो उनको तो बहुत तरीके से समझना चाहिए पहले के देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड अ स्टॉप लॉस, उसको लगाओ, देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एनालिसिस, टेक्निकल एंड फंडामेंटल बोथ, वो दो लोग करना है, एंड देन मेक श्योर दैट यू don't expect that you're going to get rich in one day or a year or a month. More or less, this is a long-term game. As Shankar said, put stop loss everywhere. जहाँ पे भी कदम रखोगे पहले stop loss रखो, उसके बाद अपना टारगेट प्राइस सेट करो. पहले ये देखो कितना नुकसान उठा सकते हो, फिर देखो कितना प्रॉफिट उठाने की समझ है. And then when you invest for short term, let's say a month, swing करोगे या positional, उस पे भी look at the fundamentals of the company and look at the budget, but don't overemphasize on it based on the fact कि इसके बेस पे कुछ एकदम से मंत्र डाल दिया है स्टॉक मार्केट पे, इसका थोड़े दिन इसका हैंगओवर थोड़े दिन में निकल जाता है. तो on a generic level, whatever you as a trader or investor do and follow, keep on doing that. इसका ज़्यादा वो झोल लेके मत चलो आगे. So that's one thing I would like to say in a very raw format.
That's very nicely
Very
explained,
nice.
Aseem. And you spoke about the budget being good. For me, the budget was neutral, not good. It's just that it supported the growth story of the country. So for me, it was neutral. Actually, it was neutral, but it did support the growth story. For me, it was up to that. So as long as the growth story lasts long, I am in. For traders who want to shift from crypto to equity markets, all welcome. We will all welcome them. They are our brothers. Brother traders. We'll all welcome our brothers with open arms. So you run your channel. We have our academies, and they can learn them for free. And we'll teach them how to do stop losses, and we'll all help them out, isn't it? That's what we all are doing, right, Asim? And we're mostly
Correct.
doing that for free, of course, and we will keep on doing that. That's one. Secondly, for people, like especially for investors, I learned one thing, and in a very a very nuisance way and very bad way. I learned this in 2008. I lost 45% of my lifetime savings because I did not book profits because I was a long-term investor, remember? So मैं long-term investor था ना, so मैं अपना profit book नहीं किया. So 2008 में I lost 45% of my savings. I was doing bad that time that I did not have money to invest. So whatever said and done, market तो जाएगा ऊपर ही. But exceptional cases के लिए it always makes sense. Maybe we can book a part of our profit and do asset allocation and invest in the market based on our risk appetite. Also, especially when you are trading, do not, if you are until or unless you are a full-time trader, do not look at your trading capital beyond 10% of your lifetime savings. If you have a full-time job to do, maybe 10% of your lifetime savings you can look at maximum as use it for a leverage based trading. For positional trades, you can take it up to 20. So you want to take up banking, so delivery based lay around, so no problem. There you can take it up to 20. But asset allocation is the key. So manage your risk by simply buying assets which are of less. If you're scared from inside, just do a bit of asset allocation. Time is also right. Take out, let's say 20%, keep that aside, and keep 80% of your equity running, 75 to 80% running. In case the market moves up, your other assets will also move up, including your stocks will also move up, right? Your portfolio will also move up. But when it comes down by 20-25% ever, you will have money with you and you can invest that. I learned it in the hard way. I learned my lesson in hard way in 2008 crash. And thankfully, I used my learning in the market in 2020. This is the same advice I always give to everyone. Just do a bit of asset allocation based on your understanding and risk appetite. You are home.
Right. Great. So we have discussed a lot, and I think this was very useful for our investors and traders. They can follow, and yeah, it was a great session, and even I learned a lot. And it was a very informative session, Azim and Shankar. Thank you very much for joining us and sharing your thoughts. Thank you, Azim.
Glad to be
And
here,
thank you,
Paytm.
Shankar.
It was a wonderful discussion, and it was nice interacting with Sankha as well, and good questions from the Paytm team to answer. So it was good to have.
It was lovely being with you, Asim. Peter, it was great kind of questions which you asked were like quite tricky, and you actually asked questions which will help a retail trader and a positional trader or an investor. So the questions were very appropriate. It's not like a big kind of fund management kind of questions you're asking. You're asking simple questions, the answer of which people are looking for. So I really appreciate the kind of questions which you asked us today. And one thing to all our audience here, I believe in India a lot. I've seen many budgets, and I am going to see many budgets in future. As long as I'm living in this world, I'm going to see the budgets. You know, in this budget, at least I've seen India is going to grow by 9.27%. There's a big push in capex, 7.5 lakh crore. That's a 35% additional growth from last year. GST collections are at all-time high. You know, even the small startups are given a 1-year extension. And most importantly, my take home has not got reduced. So I can continue with my SIP and believe on India, continue with my SIPs, continue buying stocks, and be in the market and invest in India.
Yes, it's a very good message from Shankar. Thank you, Shankar.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, all the audience. Thank you. Thank you, Azim.
Bye.
Thank you, Asim.